What's good, y'all? It's Swayze. Welcome back to another video. If you missed the last one, we took apart the entire rear end in the E36, installed some new bushings, freshened up some parts, and installed some reinforcement plates. All that's left to do before we put everything back together and throw it back in the car is a new gasket and fluid in the diff, and we gotta throw some paint on these reinforcement plates. They already did rust a little bit. It's been a couple days, but I know I should have done it once I installed them, but I didn't. So gonna throw some paint on there, finish up this diff, and then we got some work to do on the front. I could completely replace the fluid, but it's only been through one event. It's pretty much brand new, so I'm just gonna top off whatever it needs. I'm also gonna go around the bolt holes just to be safe. So just like last time, I gotta put the cover on just till the shit starts to squeeze out the sides, and then after 1 hour torque it down, and then wait a full 24 hours before we can actually use it as a gasket. So here's our brand new diff cover. Well, it's new to us. Gonna pull all that tape off. Gonna go ahead and clean this off. See, one of the biggest problems with working outside is organization, right? I gotta keep all my stuff on a table out here, but it rains, so I put a tarp on it, and it gets windy, so sometimes the tarp blows off or shit blows around. What I'm trying to get at is I only have one bolt for the speed sensor in here. It's really not that big a deal because I'll just go to AutoZone and get two brand new ones, have it looking nice, but it'd be nice to just have it. I mean, I keep all my hardware together and I keep track of it pretty well, but you can't help when small shit like that just disappears into the dirt. I say this like every video, I cannot wait to get a shop. Let's go ahead and put this thing on. It's supposed to be pretty much finger tight. So I got the long bolts in. Let's line it up. It's lined up beautifully. So that's gonna be good. We're gonna give that an hour, and then we'll come back and fully torque it. I posted this subframe on my Instagram story, and someone actually let me know I can remove this vibration dampener. I don't know why I didn't think of that myself, but I'm gonna do that. Nice. Well, that's where it was. I'm probably gonna wire brush that down, throw some black paint on it, call it a day. Easy. All right, so while we're waiting for all of this stuff to dry, let's move on to the front. Now, like I said in the last video, instead of getting a $2,000 angle kit with custom control arms and shit, I'm gonna be extending my own control arms. And this needs to happen because the wheels are rubbing real bad on the frame. I can't hit full lock, and it acts as a front brake whenever I try to initiate. So this needs to be fixed. I can't really drift as it is right now. So I'm gonna remove this control arm, and I'll show you how I'm gonna extend it. All right, well, that was easy enough. These all came out fairly simple, just with a hammer, except this last ball joint was giving me some problems. So I went to Harbor Freight, got this tuning fork for 10 bucks. It did the trick. I should have got that to begin with, honestly, but everything else came out pretty simple. Now the plan is I'm gonna cut the control arm somewhere around here, and like I showed you in the last video, I got this little piece of metal. It's 5/8 thick. I got that on Facebook Marketplace for 15 bucks. My plan is to do the same setup I have on my E36 in the UK, which is extended by 50 millimeters. So I gotta double check, but I think that's around 2.5 inches. For some reason, I can't find any metric measuring tape around here. I can only find Imperial, which is weird. All right, so right here, I got the left side control arm in the vise. I got a piece of tape to make sure I cut straight. I'm gonna cut it right about here, and I'll copy that on both sides. So I tried a couple different angles there. Looked like that was the best one. Gonna go ahead and flatten down where it was cut on each side, just to give myself a good surface to weld on. And just like that, they nice and flat and good to go. All right, so I got this piece of steel, like I said, and we take the cut control arm. Now it measures, I have to double check, but it's 1 3/8 inches across, and it's 1 7/8 from top to bottom. This is, or I'm sorry, 7/8, not 1 7/8. And this is 5/8 thick. So that's fine. It's only about 1/4 inch difference. So I need to cut this to be 50 millimeters, and that equals just about 2 inches, like just short of 2 inches. So I'm gonna measure 2 inches across here and make it 1 3/8 wide. I can cut this one piece out and then make two 2-inch pieces out of it. All right, so I got both of these pieces done. This is one piece per side. And I also went ahead and beveled all the edges just to get a better weld. So these are gonna fit up to the control arms, just like that. I'm pretty much ready to weld. I got everything set up. I've never welded anything this thick. I just looked up some MIG settings on the internet, and I'm gonna just go with that, see how it goes. Wish me luck. Hey, that went better than expected. It's a little bit porous, but the color looks good. You can't even see it. Hold on. So that was my first attempt. I'm pretty happy with how that came out. All right, well, that's the first bead. It is very porous, and I'm not sure why. I got the gas up, but it does look a little bit crooked. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, but that shouldn't be enough to where it causes a problem. That should be okay. So let's get this part on. So here's what we're looking at for the final product. They're decent. They're very porous in some places, but in others, they're not too bad. It's a little bit wonky, but it's only off by like a fraction of an inch. So I made sure that these contours are lined up. Right here, it is straight. We're looking good there. So I think this is gonna get the job done. All right, so here's both control arms. I did the other one. This is the one I just did. It's super hot. The welds came out okay. Look on the other side. You know, they're still a little bit porous, but they're not too bad. They're strong. Cut to me breaking this shit at the track, but they are strong. I have confidence that they're gonna hold up to whatever I throw at them. So I'm gonna wait for these to cool down and throw a coat of paint on. And what to do in the meantime is put this subframe back together. One issue we're gonna run into is this wire right here. That is the speed sensor for the diff. I don't have a clue how the plug just got perfectly cut off, because I took the subframe out, it was fine, and I never went back under here really, except to weld. So, and I did see the actual plug the other day, and I left it right here, and now I don't see it. Maybe the UPS man took it, but that's gonna be interesting. Realistically, I don't need that, but it's really nice to have. So hopefully I can find that. Also, I just remembered I gotta get the bolts for the speed sensor. About to make a quick trip to AutoZone. I'll be right back. They had them. All right, so I'm gonna put it together the same way I took it apart. So I'm gonna start with the control arm. It appears I've broken off the stud for the sway bar link. I'm not sure what to do about that. I have a welder, but I don't know what to do about that. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Fuck. All right, so I took the sway bar back out, and luckily it doesn't look like we're that fucked. Because if you look under here, it's just a stud welded. I think it's welded into this little metal bracket. So if I take this bracket off, I should be able to knock this out and weld a bolt in there. All right, so here's what I came up with to fix this. I took a bolt, ground out the head because it was super thin in there. You need clearance for, you can see what I mean there. It needs to be thin. So I ground down the head, welded the bolt in there, and I got a nut that'll fit it. So this should pretty much work. There you go. Easy. Well, that's fixed. Sway bar's on. That's the new setup. So with that, the whole subframe is ready to go back in. All right, so I just spent about 40 minutes trying to get this thing in, and there's a couple things. One, I think we're gonna put some super lube on those studs because it did not want to go in. Also, this little centerpiece thing started to come out a little bit, but then went back in, so I'm not sure what's up with that. So super lube in those. Also, kind of an issue. This bolt, oh, it actually does kind of fit, but this is not the factory bolt because like y'all saw before, they did a kind of sort of welding job. Whoever welded it put in like a really long nut for this to bolt into, and this is slightly bigger than the factory bolt, so I'm gonna have to drill out this just a tiny little bit, which sucks because I wanted to be able to reuse the subframes, or at least these bushings, for a future car when I move out of the rust belt, get a cleaner shell. That went smoother than expected, but that bolt fits now. so we're good. I've been struggling with the subframe for a while now, and I think one of the biggest issues is that it's uneven on the left and right side, and a big reason for that is the bushings and the little centerpiece in the middle. The nuts would not cover the bushing itself, just the metal in the center, and drive that up, and the subframe would sag a little bit. I'll see if I can give y'all a visual. That right there is exactly what I mean. The metal should be flush with the bushing, and it's clearly not. It's just sending the core straight up. So what I'm gonna do is run the AutoZone and see if I can find washers to put on these things. I lied, I actually went to Home Depot, but I got them $4 for 3 washers. Ridiculous. I got it. It's the next day. I worked till dark yesterday. Couldn't get it. I ended up today taking out the diff and the hub and trailing arm assemblies, and I put it on the tranny jack with some wood to balance it out, and it took me about 2 hours to get this thing in. But it's in now. It's in. It's tight. And let's just say I hope I never have to take this thing out again, because it won't go well. But it's in, and like I said, I'm getting a new shell as soon as I move. So the rear end is pretty much halfway put together. I still got a few things to bolt up. I got to do the brakes and stuff, but I want to get these control arms done for y'all while I still got daylight, so we can see the camber and the angle when it's put on. So I got the front suspension mocked up right now. I got the control arm installed with the outer nut loose. It's just on there finger tight. And these are the E36 tie rods that were cut to fit the knuckle adapter, and I was backing them all the way out, and it looks like I have E90 inners on the way, but it looks like I won't even have to use them. It looks like I can get my alignment perfect with these cut E36 tie rods. Hell yeah. That's way better. That's way better than before. Look at that. It's gonna sit even lower when it's on the ground, and I got 20 mil spacers in that box right there. Hell yeah. That's gonna look dope when it's on the ground. Let me put the spacers on. Stand by. It's looking like a real drift car now, boys. Hell yeah. Look at that fitment. Oh my goodness. Now, the most important thing, arguably the whole reason I did this, the clearance, steering. Does it still rub on? Oh, I don't think it does. Look at that, baby. We're clear. No longer rubbing at full lock. Look at that. How about on this side? Oh, we are still rubbing a little bit. That's not ideal. So we are still rubbing around here. I'll see if I can clearance that a little bit, but it's way better than before. Super happy with the result. Well, I take back what I said. I'm definitely gonna need the E90 inners because that is not straight. That is not aligned. That side is pointing in while this side is straight. I just tripped on the sway bar. So yeah, I'm gonna have to stop at the post office tomorrow because I should have the E90 inners waiting for me. I wanted to have both front wheels on so I could show y'all and, you know, have a nice thing to look at, but it looks good from right here. Just this corner right here set up perfectly. I've also been working on the rear. That's definitely gonna go into tomorrow, which is unfortunate. I wanted to have all the major stuff done by today, so tomorrow I can finish up a few small things and clean up. But is what it is. This happens pretty often, honestly. Projects go on longer than expected. So that's gonna do it for this video. We got a ton of progress done. We almost have the car back together. We just got a few small things to finish, like the handbrake is very tight to where I can't get the rotor back on. I gotta figure out what's the problem with that is. I gotta fill up the diff fluid, fix the sensor, and then we got a few more things to do on this car. So that'll be the next video, which for me is tomorrow, and I'm not sure when y'all will get it, to be honest, but y'all will get it. And then after that is the drift event. So big things to look forward to for this build. So overall, we are a little bit behind, but not too bad. It should be good for this weekend. So let me know in the comments what y'all think of this build so far, what we did today, what you think of the homemade angle kit. Like, subscribe, and as always, thank you for watching.